We are currently in a Sefer Halikutim of the Tzemach Tzedek, in the volume which has part of the letter Aleph, on page Tov Kuf Es Zayin, 516, bottom of the page. Okay, and we are in the midst of discussing Umot haOlam of the world, second section, about their receiving their vitality. Tov Kuf Zayin at the bottom. Vihu Inyan. That's what the acronym is. Vihu Inyan, and this is the idea. Ma'amar Zal. That's an acronym within an acronym. The statement of our Rabbi, blessed memory, referring to the Midrash. Hayasham Pikeach Echad. There was one smart, one intelligent person, meaning reference to Midrash that already did, and he's going to refer to it again soon, but basically different people choosing various different ranking office for their benefit, and it was a Pikeach, a wise fellow who chose the king elf. And now he explains. Ki umais haOlam, for the nations of the world, mehain, amongst them, bacharu lachama. Some of them chose the sun, and therefore they worship and pray to the sun. They serve the sun. Chulu, etc. S-U-N. Umehen, and some of them, lakecham. They choose to worship and serve the stars. Ki ratzu, because they wanted leil to go bisharius liba, in the stubbornness of their heart, bitavoy gashmiyois, with physical materialistic desires, lihiyois, to be yesh nifrad, an egotistical, self-existing, separate entity. They want to separate themselves from Hashem, because, as we've discussed previously, the key to receiving from Kedusha is bittul. You have to have self-negate, self-nullification, and you have to be bittul to Hashem. And they don't want. So they want to indulge in their physical desires, and they want to be separate, and they want to be yesh, they want to be in existence. But the af al pichein, and nonetheless, yikalu, they want to receive, yikalu, they want ribui hashpa'ah, an abundance of flow of receiving, gashmius, physicality, me'elikus, from godliness. So they want to have it both ways, which normally, at least for the Jew, that's not possible under normal circumstances. So they want to have, and they want to receive all of the tremendous blessings, so to say, and they will get a lot of physicality without having to have bittul.
So, Rabbi Turen, can I ask a question? Did you just say that they can? Is that the concept of receiving reward? Did you say they can't? Yisrael cannot? I thought it was only Yisrael can.
No, in general, Yisrael cannot receive without bittul.
Oh, yes. Oh, I thought you meant they can't have both.
No.
Okay, but only Yisrael has bittul, so then they can receive that shefa.
Right.
Right.
And they need to have bittul, whereas nations of the world want to receive this flow shefa of gashius, wanting it from Elogus, from cleanness, but they don't need bottle. So that Vihu al Yedei their Sephiros, and that is through the 10 Sephiros Noiga of Lipa of Noiga. This is what is called Farim Hakidoinim, the cellular or the external books or wings, kanal, as we mentioned earlier. In other words, there's a minna in Sanhedrin, the Mishnah in last chapter there, and it lists various different people or things that are not good. So it says one of them, someone who reads from the Sfarim Hidoinim, from the external different books. So here we're explaining that's what the Sfarim Chitzoinim referring to. It's the 10 Sephiros Noiga. So that's how they receive. In other words, if they would go, to Klipa, the 3 negative Klipas, then that's not really called receiving from Likus, from godliness. But they want to receive from godliness, and they don't want to have to. So therefore, the channel that they use is the 10 Sephiros of Noiga. Aval hapikeach, however, the wise one, the smart individual in the metaphor, having understood ma sheksu for Nemar, that which states, the verse says, Al tivtechu, do not trust binadivim, in generosity of people, in birth. Biven Adam, a person, she'ein loy teshua, that doesn't have any salvation. As he's about to explain. The simple reading of the verse is, don't trust in man. Perush teshua. What does this verse mean? It uses the word teshua, which is the root of salvation. What does it mean that man has no salvation? Who is nimshach druda mechina, from the delay smala, that there is no left side, behai, in this atik, which is a reference, of course, to inner level of Keser. Keser in general has 2 levels: the external part, which is arich, short, and the internal level of the deeper level of Keser, which is referred to as atik in short. So in the level of atik, which is an extremely high level within Keser, so it says there is no left side. Normally there's right and left. In atik, there's no left. The Yeshua and the salvation, the hakoyach and the strength, who you mean? That's from the right side. As we have another verse that says, salvation, save with your right hand, etc. Or another verse that says that his right is that which brings salvation. Yamin chodafka. In other words, it's specifically your right. So salvation is associated with the spiritual level of Hashem, right, as it were. And therefore, what the verse is saying is, don't trust people that don't have teshua. But the names of the world, they're from the left side. They don't have this salvation as mentioned above. So that's what the book is saying on a deeper level. Don't trust the doors, man that has no teshua, meaning the nation of the world, that they are the left side. They don't have right as the right side really where the salvation is, and you really have to go all the way to Atika, where that's all right without left.
And Rabbi Turen, is that also, or I shouldn't say also, but I'm speculating here, but is that because there's no a klipa at that level, therefore they're just not at that level. They're trying to access it through the klipa.
Yeah. And now he's going to bring in another medrash, and explain this whole now in the next few lines here. The who inyan, and this is the Aida, or the thing, top of next page, Tov Kuf Dayan. Ma'amar Razal, the statement of Rabbi of the Blessed Memory. The Midrash Rabbah, in the Midrash Rabbah. The Eser, Megillah Esther, as the Midrash Rabbah is not in the Chumash, but it's also on the, and also including 5 Megillah. There's a Midrash Rabbah. B'dibur HaMaschil, with the paragraph there, the section that begins with the opening words. Achar hadvarim hile, after these things, Gidal Hamel, the king, brought up. That's a verse from Esther, where it introduced Haman, the evil villain Haman. So the verse in the Megillah says, after this, the king made great and exalted, and then it introduces one. So on those words, the Medrash says as follows. Now we quote the Medrash. Mashal is a female key, v'sayacha, and a female mule, I believe. V'chazira, and a female yeah. Now the owner of these animals was giving lachazira to the pig, barley, believed chuli, without limit, without measure. In other words, just finger it and with as much as in a tea, and just kept giving it. So then it's etc. And I think over there, the other animals are asking, it's not fair. Why is the owner giving so much to this animal that doesn't really do so much for him? We that we're doing the work for the owner, for the master, for the person, referring to other animals there. This is the conversation they're having. So how come he limits us? He does let us have free reign and just ourselves nonstop, as he does to the female pig. It's fair. So the other animal, or the other one, answers, the hour will come, Visira, and you see Shehu Rasa, that it is for its negatives, not for the benefit of the pig. The fact that he's, it looks like it's a act, giving it unlimited hourly to keep eating away. Looks like he's being kind and so unfair. So you see the full come, and you understand it's not the benefit of the pig. And then, etc. So the etc. is that after he fat up really well, then he goes ahead, and now that it's all fat like he wanted, he kills it. And now we got all this, prick, etc. that's really, really fatty and able to eat it. So really, the balabis, the owner who was stuffed this animal, was not doing it. Animal was bit, but on the contrary, because he wanted the animal to be so fat so they can kill the animal and have more heat for himself. Whereas the other animals that he needed them to work for him, so he did not stuff them as much, which really were their benefit as well, because they stayed healthier, stayed alive, whatever. That's the parable.
That's excellent.
Lefi she'ein lohem shua, because they have no salvation. Ki hoishia yamin chadaka, because that's what before. It is specifically your right hand, Shem, that is where the salvation is. The Amar Hatam, and then getting back to the Midrash, the Medrash that we already quoted last as well, gives the reason. What's the reason that the Ikeach, the wise one, chooses the king himself, and all the others didn't? What's so smart about choosing the king himself? So the Medrash says the reason. The Chulhu, for all of them, Mispafin, are exchanged. All of them are able to be exchanged. And the king does not change. All right, in the parable, the king is not an elected official that has a certain number of years, or that someone can decide to change him with someone else. Whereas all the other ministers and officers, no matter what level they're on, all the dukes, etc., they are inchangeable. Vihu, and this parable, this analysis is, the analogy is, as we have other verse which states, Hasisav of our, the season of autumn passed, Vageshem chlaf, and rain has gone away, the holachlo, and left. All right, so the season changing, the gam came, and this is also kimarazl, like the statement of rabbis of blessed memory. Shateven, the straw, hakash, the actually more like stubble, and the kash, the straw, the hachita, and the wheat. Midaim are having a debate, judging. Ze im one the other. So again, parable as the parables is the distinction between stubble, straw, and wheat. Shebitchila, for at first, Hatzmiya, the growth, B'moageshamim, in the season of rain, the winter. Nire, it seems, that the main growth is the stubble, etc. Now, as you look, what's growing, it looks like most success growth is not the stalks of wheat, but the other thing. Lichshetava kri. So when the cycle comes, the hamirua, and I forget how you say this in English, when you flatten and you like take the whole pile of the grain and then you flat out. At that point in the stage, in the process of the production of this grain, then Zukim, one throws away, they throw away Hakat, the straw, the and the actual eats, the free and the fruits, produce, ikar is the thing, etc. In other words, you have to be patient and you have to see the whole picture. But the system Hashem makes is that at first it looks like certain things are really benefiting, or they're really the purpose, the goal, and the main thing. But if you walk to the end, you know they're just there either as protection or as an instruction, but they're not really what it's all about. So at the beginning of winter, you will see things like straw or hay, or I'm not sure hay is the word. Hay may be straw after it's already been cut. I'm not sure. Whatever. You know the exact words. But you just stubble, a straw, that it's growing. And only later you'll actually throw out that, because that's not one mixed in with the actual kernels of your wheat, etc. And this is the idea, klipa kadma pri, that the shell, the husk, the klipa precedes the actual produce. So after the stalk of wheat, so there's the stalk. That's not the edible part. But then you have the kernel inside. So in the growth process, first comes outer shell, the husk, the klipa.
Excellent.
And are receiving their life, their vitality from the world itself. However, kasher hageshem chola, when the rain or the winter sin has passed, etc. Now, what happened historically after season of winter? You see, Midrayim, and there was the exodus from Egypt, the Chodesh Aviv. To emphasize what season it was. It was in the month of spring. The Hapri and the produce, which is Shom Yisrael, Jewish souls. Umitzvos, and the commandments, Ikar Hatzmicha Chulu. They are the primary growth. So you took a while to get to that point. You didn't get it first, and there was suffering. It looked like the Egyptians were succeeding, which is klipa of the klipa, really, really bad. And it looked like Pharaoh was having his faith. But if you wait, see the end of the story, after the autumn and the winter, the rainy season, then finally comes the spring, which is when you're going to be able to benefit and see that the purpose was not klipa, that was just outer husk. Same thing over here. Yeah.
That's exactly what happens with winter wheat. Then the winter, in the late fall, it starts to grow, and then you see all the klipa. You only see the grass part, the straw part. And then throughout the winter, that's all you see. And then it's not until around this time, around Pesach or whenever, that's when you start to see the buds of the actual the kernels. Yeah, the actual berries. Excellent.
Exactly.
So beautiful.
The word in English, the word hay, is that, what's the difference on hay? One is after it.
You're kind of breaking up again a bit. Say that again.
In English, what's the difference between straw and hay?
Oh, straw. Hay is grass, and that's what cattle and ruminants eat. They eat dried grass, which is hay. Straw is wheat or barley. It's the stalk part of the barley or the wheat. That is not eaten. That's used as bedding.
Okay, so we're here, there would probably be then straw.
Correct. Straw, yes. Yep. Straw, and then chaff, which takes a more delicate refinement to refine the berry away from the klipa. It takes a little bit more.
Very good.
There's probably a teaching within that, but I don't,
Let's do the next piece.
Okay, excellent.
So in the middle of Tav Kuf Zayin,
Yeah. And is
Let's
that
go
where
on.
is that the teaching about the klipa precedes the fruit? That's
Yeah.
excellent. That's excellent.
Mhm. Exactly. Okay. Ugdoila mizi, and greater than this, or a bigger idea, Mibur is explained b'midrash Rabbah, again in the Medrash, but this time Medrash Rabbah, Rish Koheles, the beginning of the book Koheles, the beginning of the Medrash Rabbah on the book Koheles. And I don't know how to pronounce the word in English, some long word,
Ecclesiastes or something like that.
Ecclesiastes, yeah.
Which I don't know what that means.
Well, okay. So in the Medrash Rabbah, on the beginning of Koheles, it says as follows: Shekol Mashivra, that everything was created, and this next acronym stands for B'Sheish Yemei Vereshis, in the sixth of creation. Everything that I'm created in the sixth day of creation, Soifa, its destiny, Lahel, is vanity. V'chiloin, and to be destroyed, to be consumed. Okay? Now remember, in the beginning of the book of Eliezer, it starts off saying Hevel a lot of times over there. That those says that Solomon, everything is vanities and all that.
Mm-hmm.
The Medrash on that says everything that was in the creation is destined for vanity. And then the Medrash explains. Ki shamayim, for the heavens, ki ashan nimlachu, are like smoke. That it just dissipates, like smoke is, just goes away, just evaporates. The haaretz, and the earth, kiveged tiva, will become wild and just useless, like a garment, like a worn out garment. And then it quotes a verse: the Havana, and the moon will be sort of embarrassed. Uvoishach, and the sun will be embarrassed. In other words, even these great, powerful lumens that Hashem created, but the verse says that there'll come a time that they'll be embarrassed. If so, Kol Mashoidin Lama, all are worshiping the sun, Chulu, etc. They all get exchanged. In other words, it's foolish to worship and serve the sun, because the sun is then to be embraced. Umalka, it is the king specifically, who, what do we mean? The Midrash uses the analogy of king. It is Bechinas Zodilus. So according to Kabbalah, it is the aspect level of the sixth Midah, the sixth emote traits of the word Atzilus, meaning Chesed through Yesod 6. Eina Mischalech doesn't change. That's the king, and that change. Kihu Shevaya, for this is the name of Kevav, the tetragram name. So that's a change. V'roitze loymar, and what the Medrash wants to say, explain Tzemach Tzedek. He wants to say, Ki Hagam, for although Shele'asid Lavoy, that in the future to come, meaning the times of Moshiach, Yoir will shine, may Asmus, from the essence, or Esof, of the infinite light of M, Shemaila, which above, it's higher than Mizah Datzilus of. Even though at the time there will be a high godly revelation higher than Zav Atzilus. V'lochein ne'emar, and for that reason it is stated, V'hoya, which simply translates as, and it will be, Havaya li Likutim. This referring to a verse that Yaakov Avinu, Jacob said, that when he tells us that if you'll protect me and you'll give me clothing to wear, etc., and if Havaya will be for me, Likutim. So, me to say, what do you mean Havaya will be Likutim? That this level of is the six midot in the world Silus of Atzilus. Then in the future, in the Messianic, will be considered Rak merely like the name of Elikim. Of course, is the name of nature, and that's a lower level of Hashem creating and concealing himself and making laws of nature, etc. Because everything is relative. Right now, we have a level of godliness that we refer to as Elohim. Beyond that, we refer to that as Yud-Vav-K, which the level would be Yud-Vav-K is Atzilus. However, in the future, that Atzilus relative to the higher level of relation then will be called Elohim. So notwithstanding that, Hare, behold, Adirabba. On the contrary, Al Kol Panim, at any rate, this revelation will be Al Yidei Shem Havaya Daf. So it will be through the name Yud Kef K. In other words, we're not saying that the of Atzilus will remove Yud Kef Vav K. Shechinas Elokim. It's just that name Yud Kef Vav K, which is the of Atzilus, will at that point be considered like we consider today the name of Gabe relative to or compared to Atika Kadisha. That acronym is for Atika Kadisha, which we said before, Atika or Atik, which is the inner level Keser. So because then it'll be absolutely revealed and shine bright the level of Atik, inner level of Keser, which is beyond everything. Therefore, even the of Atzilus will nearly be referred to as Elikim. V'oid, in addition to that, furthermore, the be'emes, that in truth, kulachad, really all one and the same. What do we mean it's all one? Hainu, meaning they. Ki Atzilus, or this world of emanation, Atzilus, Afshu al Yitzimtzum, even though this world's existence is through the Tzimtzum. Bechinas Yid, which is the aspect of the first letter of Hashem's name, Yud Kei Vav Kei, it's the Yid. Today, in order, she mayor that should shine, Bitziur Dam, in the form of Adam, which means Chama, that's the intellect, the Chesed, that's the ocean, Chulu, etc. In order to get from the world of Atzilus into the world of Biyah, creation, formation, and action. There is this assume. Mikol Makoim, nonetheless, Hare Atzilus, but yet this world level, which is called Atzilus, Mishain, come from the term Vayotzel, which means and he took a piece of, he gave of.
Oh.
Which is referring to where Hashem initially in the book of Bamidbar in Paras Ba'aloischa, Hashem tells Moshe to gather the 70 elder, and he gives them a little bit of Moshe. So it says that he vayotzel the spirit of Moshe to them. So to take off, like so to say, a chunk of Inyan. And what does that mean? What's that idea of vayotzel? Ilui hahel, the revelation of that which is concealed, hulu, etc. V'zeu, and this is the meaning, ani havaya kula vad. I am Yudke Vavke, Hashem says, and it's all one. Meaning, Ani, word Ani, which is not a name of I am, it's more than that. It's so to say personal. Hu bechinas atzmus or ein soferchu. That is the essence of the infinite light of Shem, blessed be He. It's higher than any name, even higher than Yud Vavke. That's He. The Havaya and his name Vavke, Ubichinas Arensa. This is the aspect of the infinite light, Shemeir Umislabesh, that shines and is enclosed Be'eser Spheres Tatzilus in 10 spheres of the world of Atzilus. Ulachad, it's really one. So in a sense, it's all one. It's just a matter of concealing, contracting himself for the sake of revealing himself. But it's like we're making a distinction over here, saying, well, there's Hashem in its state, but then there's a watered down version of Kevavke. We're saying, don't make a mistake. Yud Kevke in S is really one with that which is beyond Kevavke.
That's excellent. That one was a very deep one. I'll have
to
spend more time on that particular one. That's excellent.
Yeah.
The whoosh. So it's talking about the enclothements. Wayne, you said that was Yaakov?
Who said over there that was Yaakov said that.
Okay,
yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Beginning of Parshas Vayetze.
Okay, excellent.
All right.
Thank you so much, Rabbi Turen. That was excellent.
Sure. So Meretz Hashem tomorrow, starting by Schleif's book.
Yeah. I've got it right here. And
good.
I've got a quick feedback for you. Your picture, the video is really good, and I'm wondering if it's a setting because your audio, unfortunately, was breaking up. Your video looked really clear, but your
you know
audio.
What I'm thinking? I'm thinking maybe the video is better because his wife's phone is always, and she had a screensaver, and when it came Pesach, she took it and threw it out because for Pesach it had, whatever chametz it may have been there. So now there is no screensavers you're getting, though it's very clear.
Oh, I got you. Okay. I don't fully understand, but
I fully know too.
You got a new
screensaver. I'm sorry, you got a new screensaver on here. A screen protector. Sorry.
Oh, protector. Yeah. Well, I don't know if it's
That's
that. Right. I'm wondering if it's in the settings. If you have the settings to where you are preferring a better quality video rather than better quality audio. But I don't
know. I try not to touch it.
Okay.
But what about the audio? What's the problem with the audio?
It was a little spotty. Like not you were talking just fine, but it was acting as if the data in the stream was choppy, kind of like it when you're having bad signal on a cell phone.
Oh, I don't know.
So yeah, just letting you know. I don't know. It's happened before, but the video quality looks good, but the audio for whatever reason was choppy. It's almost like it was preferring the video over the audio rather than the other. So I'd prefer to have a better quality audio so we get the whole, you talking clear. So
right.
Alrighty. Well, sure. I'm still recording. I guess I'll